Good morning. It's Tuesday and it's 11 a.m., which means it's time for the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. Presenting live weekly performances in the WDNA Jazz Gallery, featuring students, faculty, and alumni from Florida International University's School of Music. I'm your host today, Zach Weinstein, and along with our producers Karen Velos and Rodolfo Zuniga, we'd like to welcome you to the FIU Music Hour. Whether you're listening to us live in your car or live streaming on WDNA.org/FIU, we are delighted to have you join us today for our live performance. It's also our spring membership drive, which happens to end tomorrow. In exchange for all the music, education, and enrichment you receive from WDNA, we're asking you to give what you can with a tax-deductible donation. Today's goal is $300 on the FIU Music Hour program, but every donation in every amount counts. Choose what you can, give, and call 305-662-8889 or go to WDNA.org. Today, we are joined by the Fernando Ulibari Trio, led by Fernando Ulibari on guitar, Jamie Ousley on bass, and our very own Rodolfo Zuniga on drums. Fernando is an active performer, composer, and educator in Miami, Florida. Fernando has performed in numerous venues and concerts, such as Carnegie Hall, Teatro Nacional de Costa Rica, the Arturo Sandoval Jazz Club, and the Berkeley Performance Center. He has also been a clinician for the Thelonious Monk Institute of Jazz. And now, here's the Fernando Ulibari Trio performing If I Should Lose You by Rager and Robin. And that was If I Should Lose You by Ranger and Robin. Our spring membership drive ends tomorrow. We're close to reaching our goal, but to meet it, we need your support. And we've got a great deal for your donation of $120. We call it the Procrastinator Pack for folks who hold out to the end of the drive. It includes the brand new Alone Together t-shirt in blue or yellow, plus the Dave Brubeck Quartet's Time Outtakes CD. Invest $120 for your pack. Don't wait any longer to donate. Your support is needed now. Call 305-662-8889 or go to WDNA.org. Next, we'll hear Windows by Chick Corea. And that was Windows by Chick Corea. When you listen to 88.9 FM, you probably don't spend much time thinking about where that signal comes from. You just expect it to be there, right? Well, the signal that travels to your home, work, or car stereo comes from our tower site in Homestead. It's a tower shared by many local media outlets, and we all pay rent to be there. WDNA's monthly tower rent is $10,062. Not cheap, but of course necessary to function. Listener support provides a critical component of WDNA's operating budget. That means your donation now helps WDNA maintain our monthly tower rent. So when you call with your contribution, you are really keeping WDNA on the air. Please call now to 305-662-8889 or give online at WDNA.org. Fernando, how are you this morning?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Of course. So, I see you're a graduate of Berklee College of Music in both music synthesis and jazz composition. What is music synthesis, and how does it relate to jazz?
Well, it doesn't. But that degree doesn't exist at that school anymore. I think
Really?
they changed the name to something called intelligent design, or I don't really know what it's called now, but it's kind of still the same degree. It's basically using computers and electronics to create sound and compose music, as opposed to like a recording degree, which some people sometimes ask me if that's what it was. And there's an element of recording and understanding acoustic sound, but it's different than a recording degree where you're dealing with, putting microphones up and capturing sound. This is more of generating sound with an understanding how.
That's really cool.
And there was more of a compositional element, I guess, for the portfolio projects and stuff, where you had to create stuff instead of capturing it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then the performance of said composition.
Oh, well, if it was music synthesis, the performance would have probably been made by a computer. So it's programming the computer, and then jazz composition, I guess, deals more with what we're doing. I guess there's compositional elements in both, and at the end of the day, they're both music degrees, so understanding music is required. But, the jazz composition thing was understanding how to write for a jazz ensemble, studying jazz composers, and also then you would have to perform the compositions yourself, right?
Yeah, of course. I'd love to hear more about that right after our break.
Sure.
This is the WDNA 88.9 FM FIU Music Hour with the Fernando Ulibari Trio. We'll be right back after these messages. We are back with the FIU Music Hour and the Fernando Ulibari Trio on WDNA 88.9 FM. So, Fernando, what was it like teaching, or how do you say, clinicking at the Thelonious Monk Institute of Jazz?
Well, I mean, so the Thelonious Monk, which I think is now called the Herbie Hancock Institute, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually an institution that has done different kinds of things, but at the time, and I think it's still to this day under a different name, was doing outreach to schools in different parts of the country. So there's my good friend Jim Gager, who's the teacher at New World School of the Arts. I forget this guy's name. The guy that does the thing for the Thelonious Monk Institute reached out to him. They were looking for clinicians. So basically, they brought a few different people in to teach his students. So I guess I never actually went to the institute, which I believe at that time was in California, but I was kind of teaching on their behalf here. J.B. Dias, that's the guy who works for the Thelonious Institute. I just did outreach not outreach, but clinics here for Jim's students.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How did you even end up in Miami and with FIU?
Well, so Rodolfo and I go back, I don't know, to 1996. We met at the Universidad Nacional, the National University in Costa Rica, I believe in a sight singing class with this guy, Jordi Antique. He was a sight singing teacher. And we, both of us, didn't come from a conservatory background, so I guess our sight singing was weak at best, would be fair to say. But I met him and another friend of ours that lives here at that time. I believe that was 97. And then at some point I ended up moving to Boston, probably in 98 or so. But Rodolfo and I always kept in touch. And when I graduated from Berkeley, I was dealing with that struggle that every music graduate finds, which is how do I make a living and where do I play, and I want to play. And Boston had a few things going for it. I mean, a lot of things that are great about it, but some of the things that make it hard, for me at least, was one, the cold, which was something I wasn't used to, and it was one of those winters in 2003, which was the coldest in the last 15 years, one of those things. So that had me pretty kind of out of my element. But also, Boston's a very small town with an overpopulation of musicians, so there's all the faculty at Berkeley, all the faculty at the NEC, plus all the graduates, and very few gigs. And I think what just finalized the decision in my mind was one day when I found out that the guy who was playing piano at the Charles Hotel, which would be the equivalent of the Biltmore Hotel here, was making $100 a night because they could pay that because anybody would do it, So I figured I couldn't make a living there. I didn't really want to go to New York. Long story short, I ended up moving here. I was Rodolfo's roommate for a year, maybe, or a year and a half. I don't know. At that point, I got into FIU a little later, and then I just never left. I thought I was going to be here for 2 or 3 years, and here I am. I think almost 20 years later, I guess. Yeah, 18 years later.
Which do you enjoy more, if you had to pick, teaching or performing, or a bit of both?
Yeah, I guess both. I mean, when you're playing with good players like these guys, it's obviously a lot of fun, and I guess that's really what I really like to do. If I had to pick one, but there's, when you have good students, and by good students I don't mean people that play well. I just mean people that are invested in what you're trying to tell them and challenging you and all of that. I think that's also very rewarding in a different way. I mean, I think there's an aspect to performing when you're teaching. There's sort of a persona that you have to portray to students. And of course, you got to know what you're talking about, right? So, but I can't say. They're both very rewarding in different ways. It's very rewarding to see former students, particularly some of the kids I taught at New World, and see where they're now. And I also teach at Broward Community College, and talking to former students and seeing how they're, making a living, excelling in the community and stuff. That's also a very rewarding thing.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
My last question for you today. In 2014, you released your first album, Transform. What was the inspiration behind it? And is there a new one coming out?
Well,
new album?
I mean, there's always something, right? That record, I think, those some old songs that I had written. I mean, some of them I had played with Rodolfo. Some of them I actually wrote as a student at FIU. Some of them I had written from before. But somehow I ended up playing in a trio, in a band with Jim Gager and Josh Allen, and who's a bass player that lived here a few years ago, and Johnny Arling. And I don't know. I just liked the way that music sounded with them, and it came from just wanting to capture that that band playing those tunes. I guess that's really where it comes from. And then I wrote more songs, but I just haven't. I need to get organized and and release that. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Sure, my
really
pleasure. Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
Love hearing what you have to say and have to play. You listen to WDNA in the car, on the way to work, on the way home. To the grocery store, WDNA member Pauline from Homestead said, "My car radio doesn't know how to play anything but WDNA because, like Pauline, you listen day in and day out. Please invest in WDNA today. Call 305-662-8889 or give online at WDNA.org. Now we're going to hear the Fernando Ulibari Trio play Pent Up House by Sonny Rollin. And that was Pent Up House by Sonny Rollin. Well, it's the end of the drive, and whether you meant it or not, you've waited until the last minute. So guess what? We've got a special pack just for you. Invest $120 in WDNA, and we'll thank you with the Procrastinator Pack, which includes the Alone Together t-shirt in either blue or yellow, and the Dave Brubeck Quartet Time Outtakes CD. These have been some of the favorite thank you gifts during this drive, so get yours now because the drive ends tomorrow. Don't wait any longer. Go online at WDNA.org or call 305-662-8889. Next, we'll hear Peace by Horace Silver. To speak? Yeah, of course. You've been listening to the FIU Music Hour on WDNA 88.9 FM. I've been your host, Zach Weinstein, along with our producers, Karen Velos and Rodolfo Zuniga. We'd like to thank our production crew and the staff of WDNA 88.9 FM for today's broadcast. The fund drive that you've been hearing of this entire hour ends tomorrow, and we need to hear from you today. We are so close to reaching our goal, so we're counting on you. Please again call 305-662-8889 or go to WDNA.org. And if you'd like more information on all of our programs at the FIU Music Hour, make sure to call 305-384-2896 or simply like our Facebook page to stay up to date with all of our upcoming performances. Next week, join us again here at 11 a.m. for some more great music on the FIU Music Hour. Next, we'll hear Sandu by Clifford Brown. And that was Sandu by Clifford Brown. Like I keep saying, the fund drive ends tomorrow, and we are so close to reaching our goal. We only need $100 to reach our program goal today, so please call 305-662-8889 or go to WDNA.org. Fernando, what are we going to hear next?
I'm going to do a really quick version of this tune called Broadway.
Perfect. And that was Broadway. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you real soon.